Why I left my master's program, snippet, I wanted more. Point blank period. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikayla. For those of you who are new subscribers, hey guys, I'm the Holistic Hottie, point blank period, and here we talk about wellness, wholeness, healthy lifestyle. We talk about medicine, ministry, just anything and everything on my journey through life, my journey through medicine as a whole, and becoming a holistic physician. That's the goal, that's the plan, God's willing. So welcome to my channel. For my returning subscribers, hey babes, hey boos, hey guys. So my bad, y'all. So how are you guys doing? How have y'all been doing? What you been up to? Leave a comment in the comment section below. It's been a while since I recorded a video, so excuse me, but let's get a cute little recap. So it's February the 18th, 2023. And right now, I'm supposed to be in my second semester of my master's program. For those of you who don't know me yet, I am currently in the MSP3 program, which is a 1-year accelerated master's program at the Hottiee College of Medicine. It's 3 semesters long. We have 3 exams as our complete grades for that block, that semester, and we progress through those 3 semesters, matriculate into whatever medical school of our choice once we complete the program. Now, you do get 2 guaranteed interviews with Alabama College of Osteopathic Medicine and Virginia College of Osteopathic Medicine, I believe, but it's 2 DO schools. You do not get a guaranteed interview with the Hottiee College of Medicine, unfortunately, but you do get the chance to have an academic boost from a master's perspective, potentially great relationships and networking with professors, things of that nature in the program. So that's what I'm in. If you've watched a couple of my other videos, you kind of understand why I left the program. I did leave. And it came at a real surprise to a lot of people. But with the program, let's just keep it raw, okay? So in the program, I had some really great friends. They're my friends to this day. Really sweet, super sweet. Those are my friends. And I met some really cool people. It was just a really great time. You know, one thing about the program, the people at least that I talked to and were nice, we have group chats, we'll check up on each other, even with me not being in the program. I had a couple friends reach out hey Mikayla, where you haven't seen the GL? It's girl, or look. And it was super sweet because it lets you know that we're not just here just for the grades, but we want to get to know each other and make sure everyone succeeds. Now, I wish that would have been enough to keep me in the program, but I needed more than just that. I needed something greater, and let me explain. Why I left my master's program, snippet, I wanted more. Point blank period. I wanted more than what my master's was offering me. I wanted community. I wanted community more than anything. I wanted to be able to get up in the morning and just know that I was doing more than just driving over to campus to get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, study by the time class starts around 2, and then not leave till 10, 11 in the morning or 2 o'clock the next morning and do it all over again. It began to become very repetitive. And I did not like how my life was heading, and I started having moments of uncertainty in my journey because anatomy. My friends and I would be talking about it, and to this day I still think the Putineal nerve, I hope I'm saying it right because Christian and then be like, but my friends Hottie, T, Christian, like everybody, we would try our best to work at stuff. And, I would sometimes feel like, why is it not clicking? You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here and I'm doing this 12 plus hours. Why isn't it clicking? Right? Then when it got to like biochem or genetics, it would click. Immuno comes around and I'm like, why is it not clicking? But I enjoyed it, right? So there'd be moments where it would click and it wouldn't click. But overall, I was doing pretty well. Around the end of the first block, so the way our classes are set up, we have anatomy, then biochem, then genetics, then microimmuno. And that's how the courses ran. It kind of goes from hardest to least hardest in a grand scheme of the way the exams are set up, in my opinion. So what'll happen is I kind of got stuck in the rigor of, let me study for anatomy first, then I'll do biochem, then I'll do genetics, then I'll do microimmuno. I highly suggest that if you're going in this program, do not do that. Don't wait until the last minute to feel like, oh, I can just kind of rush and study for microimmuno, because microimmuno is sneaky, okay? It'll sneak up on you when you least expect it, because towards the end of our first block, you saw micro start to pick up. And what I would do is, in my spare time, I'd take my iPad, right? And with my iPad, I would, have all my notes. I would use Notability to do my notes and stuff like that. Prior to using my iPad for real, because it was kind of like, I'm learning, y'all, okay? I'm not very a iPad take notes kind of person. I prefer like handwritten notes. I love that whole like aesthetic of it. But I was like, okay, let me try to get myself together. Mind you, I was also studying for my MCAT and just kind of, I was implementing study for my MCAT. I was studying for my, so yeah, let's get back to that. Sorry, I almost forgot. So while I'm doing this whole transition of learning with the way the courses are set up, I was also studying for my MCAT. So I took my MCAT September the 9th, 2022. And I would wake up from about 7 till 12 or 7 till 11-ish, I would study for the MCAT. And then from 12 till about 2, I would study and then get to class at 2 because I'm already on campus. From then till about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, sometimes 12 in the morning, I would study for class. And that was my schedule. So I did not have time for other things, other curricular activities, like even YouTube or things like that I enjoyed, or even hobbies. So it was a lot. And I am a Sabbath keeper, so I go to church on the Sabbath on Saturday. So Saturday would be the only time where I could rest. And because class was picking up so much, I would have to go to church Saturday. I'm like, okay, Lord, I gotta give you some time. And then leave afterward, grab something to eat, go to campus. Or some days I'd be like, no, I need to rest. And then get up Sunday early in the morning, get to campus, try to get a head start on things, meet before my friends got there. Because for me, I need a little more time to really like assess and group things, right? So when they get there, I go, okay, I kind of have a gist, because I didn't want to be one of those people where I was solely depending on them. So sometimes I would break away from my friends and I would go and study by myself, or come home and study, because I was like, you know what, I know this is going to take me a little bit more. And when I didn't do that, I found myself getting irritated or like lashing on and being like, okay, like, whatever. And I don't like that kind of stuff. So if you're somebody who you need extra time, don't be afraid to break away from the crowd or from friends or from even class. Because I'll be in class and I'll be like, listen, I gotta go. This is just too much. And sometimes professors who won't be named want to come to the back of the class and ask you questions. But we just learned this information yesterday. So, and we're on a whole new lecture. So, if you're not the kind of person who likes to be called on, you may want to stay home the next day and review and get yourself together. So when you go to class, you're not being cold called on and don't know the answer. So that was a lot. But anyway, transitioning to second block. So second block is around October, you guys. So in October, that's when, so I love biochem. I love biochemistry. I love genetics. I love anything pathways, metabolism, right? Amino acids. So this is when biochem is getting very, very interesting. And anyone who knows me knows I love a good booklet. Love it. So around this time, biochem is happening. We're getting into more metabolic pathways. Genetics getting a little tricky. Micros picking up very quickly. I forgot to mention, during the first block, my friends and I were really going hard when it came that time, because this was our first time really trying to figure out what the exams are like, right? So if you're someone who's interested in the program, our exams are 50 questions each. Some professors will say 5 questions from this topic, 5 from this, 5 from that, or it could be a mixture of everything, which usually that's what it is. So you kind of get a whole synopsis of everything. So 50 questions. There's always going to be 2 extra credit questions, depending on what you guys learned, because some of our professors, they switch them up. So usually the head professor will give those questions. Cool. And you can kind of go to TA session to get kind of a feel about what the exam will look like. I highly suggest taking the practice exams. Period. So with a grain of salt, that's why I did that, because not every practice exam is going to look like the exam depending on the course. For anatomy, our TA was super sweet. I don't know if I can say her name, but our TA was super sweet. And for genetics, best TAs hands down. And for Immuno Micro, best TAs for our program. So take their practice test, go hard, study, look at their review information from the TA sessions. And I suggest, I said this before, I suggest going to morning TA sessions or afternoon, depending on your schedule. But if you can look at their information and then kind of make your own 1-page, 2-3-page notes, it'll really, really help along with Anki. But anyway, I wish I would have done that better, but I didn't know that until the end, but y'all will know that if y'all go into the program. So going into second block, the girl got into a little car accident. It's not funny, but I got into a little car accident, and it kind of threw me off my game a little bit going into second block. And like the whole transportation thing, it was just kind of wild, and like a couple other like, you know, personal things. But mind you, this all happened during the week of exams, so it was a lot. It was a lot, and I did exceptionally well, thank the Lord. But the one class that I knew I needed to really focus on was micro immuno, because I had made a D on my first exam and a C on the second one. So in our program, we have academic program planners where they can calculate your GPA to know what you need to get what grade. Y'all, I needed to get 104% on my third and final exam to end up with, I think it was a C in the class or a B minus. I knew in that moment, you know what I'm saying? You know how you look at a grade and you're like, yeah, that ain't, you know what I'm saying? So I was already kind of on edge, and I was like, okay, I'm in this program for a reason. Something has to shake, right? Mind you, I still have all my other exams, and they're picking up speed. Mind you, micro and immuno, now we're getting into virology. And it is bacteria on bacteria upon virus upon virus upon disease. And it was just so much, y'all. You go into lecture one day, mind you, I'm sitting here taking notes, right? I'm sitting here, I'm going through, I'm like, okay, yeah, period, right? I'm like, okay, yeah. Y'all, by the time the second or third lecture popped up, I was like, babes, what happened to the original plot of the movie? Why are we like moving so quickly? So when it came to micro and immuno, I thought it was a very interesting course. But I really felt that a course like that would have been better implemented from a community standpoint. I started having somewhat detachments from the program after my accident, going from the second block into the third. And the reason why was just because I felt that there was so much more the program could be and offer than what it was for me and the student body. I felt as though with our program, we have classes Monday through Friday. Friday is optional because some TA sessions would happen, and Friday because if we had exams that week, Friday would be when you have micro immuno. So let's do a simple kind of like walkthrough. Monday, biochem. Wednesday, Monday, anatomy. Wednesday, biochem. Friday, genetics. Monday, microimmuno. That's a possible schedule. So in between that time, you would have a day or so to kind of pick up and study for the next exam. That's kind of what my friends and I did. And as the semester was picking up, we realized it wasn't working. So we would do like anatomy, biochem, and then genetics, biochem, genetics, microimmuno, and try to work it that way. But micro, it just was a lot. It was a lot. I found myself really enjoying biochem. I was doing better in biochem, genetics, anatomy, whatever. You know, she's fine, whatever. But funny thing is, fun fact, I really wanted to do the anatomy lab, but the pudendal nerve, greater lesser foramen, please. I was like, you know what? This ain't for me. I like the outside of the body. Inside I like too, but not to where I gotta dissect you. It's kind of weird. So I was like, I'm not doing gross anatomy. That's just not gonna happen. So the lecture was enough. The lab was cute. With me to be cutting on you with a little scalpel, no. So I was like, yeah, no. Plus, if you do the gross anatomy lab, it's, I believe, 3 to 4 times a week, and it's early in the morning, like 10 to 12 or something like that. But you have 4 exams, and it's practicals, or practicum, or practical, one of those words. And it's 33 questions, and literally pretend this is the body. Like this, the body, pretend. You get a pen, put it here, and you have to tell the person or write on the piece of paper, this is what this body part is. Stick it here. What is this? You know, stick it here. What is that? Stick it here. What is that? This is the body, you know. But anyway, I was like, no. No. If it was like bacteria or whatever, cool. But to me, I need multiple choice if we're doing something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going past superficial, we're going deep down to the vessels. We have to know where the vessels lead to. Anatomy is very interesting. It was just some stuff I was like, please, you know. But anyway, it was cute. But long story short, I really enjoyed my time there. Toward the 3rd block was when I started feeling like, girl, you know, I was really enjoying the program. But this is where my academic advisor was like, Mikayla, what's going on with your grades? Long story short, y'all, my microimmuno grade was really low. And in our program, you have to have a 3.0 or higher to continue on the next semester without being on academic probation. So in my case, I knew that I wasn't there with the 3.0, but I still was like, I know I can make it shake, right? So I'm waking up earlier, I'm going to bed later, I'm staying longer, I'm leaving class and trying to focus on school more. I'm using my whiteboard more. I'm, you know, looking at videos. I'm really trying my best to make it work. I even was like, okay, Lord, let me try Anki. Anki is great in the beginning so that in the end you don't have to work as hard to memorize. I found myself, if I would have probably started working on Anki at the beginning of the block and after every course looking at our TA slides, no shade, TA slides, I would have done much better in my courses. So one piece of advice, I'm trying to get like 10 pieces of advice. My number one piece of advice is go to TA sessions early. Go early. If you're looking at programs, this is my biggest piece of advice. If you're looking at programs, we're talking masters, go for what you know. You see what I mean? Go for what you know. If you know you want something community-based, don't go to a program where there is no community-based. I know it sounds like, girl, duh, but sometimes, and this is what happened to me, I listened to the advice of mentors or others because I thought, I only want medicine, right? I only want medical school. What's the quickest way to get me there? We'll bump the rest later, right? But as I was in this program, I realized I want more than medicine. I want family. I want community. I want great friends. I want global health. Every time a professor, a dean of admissions, came, or medical school, my number one and sometimes only question was, what global health opportunities do you have for students interested in medicine, interested in understanding communicable diseases, understanding environmental health disparities from population to population? How does this medication or not having this medication affect societies as a whole, whether we're talking LDCs or MDCs, whether we're talking first world, third world, whatever the case may be, and how as physicians are we going to help assess the need of communities that are disadvantaged and underserved to get these forms of treatment or to better the sense of healthcare. My number one thing was global, worldwide, not just in your neighborhood, but the world as a whole, but starting with your neighborhood. So that question differed, and you saw it cause a shift in the room because other people be like, well, what about your MCAT score? Or what about my GPA? Or how many hours? And it was like, oh, here we go. Like, I would hear the questions and be like, okay, we get it. We see it. But like, let's be about it. And then my other question was financial aid. Like, where are the funds? You know what I'm saying? I like that you say you like, minorities or URMs, or you're very inclusive and holistic. I get that. But where's the funds to prove that you feel that way? You know what I'm saying? So I'm very big on, like, if you want me, you want me. So how are you going to keep me, though? Period. So we need to keep that rate-debt ratio, babe, real low if you really want me. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen too many students say, oh, I went to medical school for this or for it or whatever, so I'm just looking out for me, period. So anyways, I would have those two questions, and you really could tell what schools really not only talk the talk but walk the walk when they would tell you different things. Anyway, it really helped change perspective about where I wanted to be in life and my aspirations in medicine. So, long story short, y'all, I'm almost finished with the stories. Getting a little long, but bear with me. Give me like 2 more minutes. So, long story short, love my program, but towards the end, I started to feel mentally exhausted and emotionally overwhelmed. I would call my sister, my brothers, or my parents crying, or my best friend crying, or telling them like, hey, this is what's going on. Or I find myself being a little aggravated with my friends, just kind of like, I just don't know how to say it, that this ain't, it just doesn't feel right. So after talking with my advisor about it, and we were just really brainstorming about everything, he was like, Mikayla, what's your backup plan? And I grew up with the impression that a backup plan means that your plan A didn't work, or you didn't put in the work to make it work. So I found myself getting a little defensive, being like, what do you mean? I'm not, a doctor is the plan. But in my heart, I knew that there was more that I wanted than just medicine. Like there's more in my community than just being a doctor. That's the grand scheme of things. But it's other things that compile into becoming a physician than just saying I went to medical school or I went and got a master's of medical sciences just to apply to medical school. Because what did you really do with it to better your community? In our program, you're specifically there to get your academics together and move on. There is no volunteering or community service or clinicals. Like if you want, or research, if you want that stuff, you have to go get it. And the school is so nice, you guys. Like they really care about wellness and all that stuff. It's just the interconnectivity and the communication and service isn't always there as far as bridging the gap between physicians and students or mentorship and things like that. So you're really there just to do well, get your degree, go to medical school. It's a very quick transition. And I realized firsthand that that's not what I wanted anymore until I got into the program. So my biggest couple tips of advice with my program, I wish I would have been more honest with myself about what I wanted and why. I will also include you guys, there's a couple other videos from when I was in my program, so that'll kind of explain more about my reasoning for the program and things like that. I kind of got a little emotional towards the end of the blog, but I'm just going to kind of wrap this up with a continuation of what's going on and where I'm at, because we're at like 32 minutes. That's kind of long. Hopefully I'll chop it down. But since then, I did get on academic probation. I did withdraw from the program because I knew that the MS wasn't what I wanted anymore, but an MPH. So I actually want to get my master's in public health. When I originally graduated from undergrad, I wanted to go straight in and get my MPH. I didn't know what, but I knew global health had to be a part of it. And at the time, even when I was applying to masters, like the MAS program, MSP3, I'll do a separate video on like that kind of aspect, and then why my MPH. So the reason why I wanted MPH was because I loved the epidemiology side, but also how health is a public domain. It can be, we're going from the epidemic level to a pandemic level. We're talking communicable to global, like citizens, like we're talking big, the grand scheme landscape of things. So I'm very social, y'all. So I love talking and listening and communicating with you guys and just my family and things like that. So when I'm talking about medicine, I don't just want to be able to give the medicine out. I want to know, how does this medicine work? Who does it work for? Who can get it? How? Why? Are they insured or uninsured? What populations is this medication going to? Even with diabetes, that whole dynamic in medication, how certain forms of diabetic medication are only given to certain classes, certain financial brackets, as far as like, you have this insurance, this person doesn't, so they get a low grade version of it, or this person gets a high grade version of it. It's wild. And I want to understand, especially in my neighborhood where I'm from, my community. So just going to medical school and getting a degree to have in my hand and say, I'm a doctor, nobody knows you. Like, what have you done to really help your people, help your kin? What have you done? And that's the whole purpose of an MPH. I want to get ground level. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to be in the back end and the front end. I don't mind. I really don't mind. And that's what I want. I want that. And I want to be happy doing it. And I want to be genuinely comfortable with different demographics, languages. I want to learn languages, not just because it's cute to say no, because you're going to have patients, even outside of medicine and business, clientele, people from different brackets, different walks of life, You have to be able to linguistically speak their language, but still being yourself and having morals and values and genuineness about you. So that comes with time, and rushing the process is not going to get me anywhere or get you anywhere. So that's the gist of why I left my MS to go to my MPH. I'm currently in the process of looking at programs. I have a few in mind, and looking at different public health positions and clinical positions, because I'm still going to medical school, period. That's just period. But getting there the godly way, the great way, the happy and healthy way, not feeling like I'm settling just because a mentor in med school says get this degree or get that degree, and I'm not happy. So that's kind of the gist. I'm also guys, I'm getting my EKG certification, so your girl's gonna be certified electrocardiography technician, period. So I'm hoping to get more certifications and hopefully get into a clinical position and just do well. So that's kind of the update, guys, with school. I'm making some updates to my blog site. There's going to be a bunch of things happening on my blog site, guys, so be sure to check out the blog site, www.TheHolisticHottiee with 2 E's.com, to get subscribed to the newsletter, to just stay on the lookout, you guys, for different updates, different YouTube videos. There'll be a couple things that pop up, some courses as well, and I'm super excited for y'all to see what's all going to happen. So, oh yes, and monthly prayer will be back in session as well, probably like around June-ish, but we'll see. But the video's kind of long, you guys. I'm sorry it took so long, but I want to kind of hop on and just say hey and kind of give you guys a gist of where I'm at, what's going on in my life, and just to keep y'all updated on the journey still, because it's a journey. And one of my favorite songs is Closer to My Dreams by Go Appel and Drake, like his version. And every season of my life, I'm getting closer and closer to my dreams. What were stumbling blocks to some people really have been stepping stones for me in my journey. Throughout my journey, I realized that I've always said, oh, this happens to me or this happens to me, but why not? You know, why not? And a lot of what's happened to me has happened to help guide others, help grow others, and help keep others, even myself, in check and humble. Because if I would have went straight through, none of this would have been possible. I wouldn't have had the impact that I'm having, and I wouldn't have had the journey that I had, nor the hustle and ambition or growth. So I thank God for this journey, and it's going to be so worth it in the end, and even now. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please stay tuned for more videos. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.